welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a story time for you guys. So back in, I think it was June, well, May 22nd, I think is the day. So May 22nd, I went to go get my birth control changed in my arm. So I had the Implanon back. It was Implanon. That was a long time ago. That was when I was 17. And I had that one from 17 to 20. And that one was fine. I had no problems with that one. Like where they put it, placement, all that good stuff. Like having it taken out wasn't bad. Nothing was bad about that one. So then they changed it to Nextplanon. I have no idea what they did different with this, but it is a little bit different than that one was. And I got that one when I was 20 until I was 23. And then I had another one. So I had that one taken out and it was fine. Like it was a little hard to get out, but not that bad. So 23 to almost 26. I went 2 days before my birthday to get it done. And I was basically 26. So 26 years old. I'm like getting this one taken out. So this is my third one being taken out. I haven't had problems with these birth controls at all. Like a lot of people have, I have not. And they take this one out. This one was so hard to get out. It was like stuck on stuff, like scar tissues formed around it at this point. It's like really deep. That one was really deep. Like you could barely feel it in my arm. And the other two you could like actually feel pretty well. So this one was pretty deep. Harder to feel, you know. It was so hard to get this thing out. It hurt so bad. Like they numb it, but like it was pulling, so it was like down in here, it was pulling up in here. Oh my gosh, up in here is not numbed, so this hurt. I was like, oh, and I have a really high pain tolerance and it hurt. I was like, what are you pulling on? Like, oh my gosh. And you can see my arm like all this like pulling down. And I'm like, oh, please stop, like for a second. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. So she chills out a little bit. And this is the same lady that changed it for me the time before. And she did great. So I was like super excited that it was her doing it. So I was like all about it. And it was so painful. And it finally comes out after like 25 minutes of yanking on this thing. And so we get it out. She goes, by the way, we moved the placement for it. Like it doesn't go in that spot anymore. And I was like, okay, that's not ideal, but okay. So pulls out of that spot. This hole is like a decent sized hole. And I'm like, okay, cool, like whatever. Pulls it out, and then the little injector thing it comes in, she puts it, so it was down here. Now it's like up here. It's like really weirdly high. And so she puts it in, whatever. Those two spots are numbed now at that point. And I'm just like, cool, whatever. So I've got like all these little like strip things that are like stitches kind of, but not stitches obviously. They're just like these strips you like put on skin and then pull tight. So I have these on, and the one with nothing in it is like leaking so much. It was leaking like insane amounts of fluid. And you know, I looked it up, like when can I go back to the gym? Like when can I like function normal? So the first day I didn't do anything because I couldn't. And it said like wait like a day or two. So I think we waited about 2 days, and then we finally go back to the gym. So this is the third day. It's a little wet, whatever, you know. I'm like, oh, it's fine, like it's leaking because it's a hole trying to heal. Well, no, that's actually not good, and it's not normal. So I'm just like, whatever, like this is great. So I am working out, and I notice it's like leaking more and more and more. And I'm like, this is getting wetter and wetter as I do stuff. So I take it off at the gym, clean it. They have like a first aid kit. We clean it, get it all like nice and not gross anymore, and kind of like dried off. And they have like, they didn't have like the same things. They're kind of like butterfly strips, but not. But we put those on, and then we put new band-aids on. And so I'm like, okay, great. Like this is so much better. It's not all dry and gross, and like it's not dry. It's not all wet and gross and moist and like disgusting anymore. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I continue my workout. Like it didn't hurt or anything. That wasn't like a problem. The top one where the new one was put in was fine. Stayed dry, thank God. And it didn't have any problems. It wasn't all weird. Like it did what it was supposed to. I was supposed to leave it on for a week so that it could heal properly. I was supposed to leave the other one on for a week. But it was so wet that it would not stay on anymore. So we redid it, whatever. Then we went and got butterfly ones because I don't think you can buy the other ones that they have at the hospital. So well, doctor's office, hospital, whatever. So we get the band-aids the little butterfly ones, and then we get like decent sized band-aids to put over them. And we tried to like close this hole. This hole's like a decent size. I have a few pictures. I don't know if I have them when it was like super soaked, but I think I have some when it was wet. I will insert so you guys can see them. And then, yeah. So about a week goes by, right? So a week goes by, I'm supposed to be healed. I'm like, okay, sweet. Like, this should be good now, whatever. It is still leaking, right? So I call my doctor. I'm like, hey, I'm still having issues with where they took out the birth control. Like, the spot won't close. Like, it's still leaking no matter what I do to it. I'm trying to keep it clean and disinfected and, you know, not so wet 24/7. I'm rebandaging it like every day, once or twice a day at this point, because it is so like wet. And the girl was like, well, is it like red or anything? And I was like, well, no, like, because it wasn't. It was just like my normal skin tone with a hole in it. I'm like, well, no, it's not at all. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with it though. Like, it won't stop. She's like, okay, well, just come in and have someone look at it, make sure it's like good or whatever. So I go to this totally different Kaiser that I've never been to. So this is where I go, is Kaiser Permanente. So I go to this totally different Kaiser office in Littleton. And the girl's looking at it and she's like, well, there's nothing in it, nothing's coming out of it, there's no pus, there's no redness, like, you're totally fine, nothing's infected, and there's no problems with it, you're just apparently healing really slow. So she sends me home with more of those strip things, like the ones that they use, and she's like, here, have these, change it like whenever you need to, when it starts getting too wet and like super gross, like, change it out. I'm like, okay, cool. So about another week goes by. And I'm like, why will this thing not freaking close and stop leaking? Like, we have rebandaged this thing and rebandaged and cleaned and all this stuff. So much stuff to this point. Keep it clean, healthy. I had to close it. Like, we were trying so hard. Like, at some points, we had those things so tight that it hurt. So we'd have to rebandage them because I was like, this is like so painful and I don't think it's supposed to be painful. So this thing will not close for life. And then, what is it? Like, a few days after 2 weeks goes by, it's dry. I was like, oh my gosh, it's not leaking anymore. This is so great. Like, holy cow, it's dry. I'm like so happy about this, right? Well, the dryness ended up not being great. The dryness was because it did finally close, sort of. It also got huge, a giant bump in my arm that was red as hell. And very painful, like very painful. And because I had noticed, I was like feeling it through the band-aid one day. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's not like leaking anymore. And I was like, why is my arm so hard? Like hard. And I was like, and why does it feel like it's been like risen up? And I was like, oh shit. Well, oh no. I was like, ah. So I pull off my band-aid and it is definitely infected. I have a huge red circle and like a gross, squishy, like yellowy white middle center. It was disgusting. I have a picture of it too. I will insert it. So if you got a weak stomach, you might not like the middle of it. It's a little gross, but it's not like unbearable to see. So whatever. I have pictures of it. I think I have a video of it to see like how it popped out even. I think I still have all that stuff. So whatever I have, I will insert from that day. So I had to go back to the doctor. And I'm just like, what do I do now? It's infected. And they're like, oh, now you have to take an antibiotic and get rid of it. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, this is great. I've been to the doctor 3 times now for this. Like, can we fix this, please? Like, please, I really don't want to have to deal with this anymore. So I take the prescription for it to get the infection gone. And now my arm has like a permanent, see if I can get close enough. So now my arm, this is where it was, and it's gone down a lot actually. It used to be like this really gross clear bubble thing, and then my new one, if you can see that spot right there, so my new one sits here. But I can like feel the end of it and it kind of scares me a little bit because it's like, you can just like, it sticks out a little bit. It's weird. But that is where it was before. That little slash right there, it was so big though. The hole was so ridiculously huge. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So, not sure how I feel about this birth control anymore. Just because I had so many issues this time with it. I mean, I'm going to obviously keep it for the next 3 years because I have it in my arm now. And I'm not cutting it out until I have to cut it out. After that experience, I don't want that thing coming out. So, if you guys are thinking about getting Nexplanon, really make sure like you know what can happen to you. Because I honestly didn't think I was going to have all these terrible like scars from it. I thought they would be like small and like barely noticeable, but this one on my arm has slowly over the years gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and this time it got super infected. So I was like, I don't understand why we can't put like maybe real stitches in it or something, because clearly what we're doing isn't working. And then obviously the only way it fixed itself was by getting infected. So yeah, it was a pain in the butt and not super fun, painful, disgusting. All the leaking is so gross. Like, ugh, I can't even with that. Like, I was like, can I please have a dry arm? Like, this is disgusting. But yeah, so that is my arm got infected from removing my birth control. And yeah, so if you get it, try to keep it in the same spot, because I never had an issue with putting it right back in, and it was the same hole every time that they went through. So I don't know why getting it out is such a pain in the butt, but it is. So I think it's a great birth control. I really do. Like, haven't gotten pregnant, obviously. I haven't had any like huge hormonal issues. I don't know if it's made me gain weight, because obviously since I've gotten it, I've grown up as an adult. Like, I was 17 when I got my first one, so I've gained some weight since I was 17. But I don't know if it's from that or just life, you know? I won't know until I don't have this thing in my body, which it's been in my body for so darn long now, I don't think it would affect me that way. But I do know a lot of girls have a problem with that, like from the beginning. I know it makes people gain weight. I know that people have a hard time with it getting removed. I know people have like hormonal spikes, like crazy hormonal spikes. However, it's pretty intense and it works well. I can't remember to take a pill for my life. Like, I am so bad about it with vitamins and stuff. I know this is a little bit different, but honestly, I'm one of those people that I might forget. And I would just rather not take that chance and just have it permanently in my body. And I know that works for some people and it doesn't work for other people, and that's totally fine. But my experience with it has been really good until this last time. It's not the birth control either. It was just the healing process of it. So just with caution, know if you do get this, you can get an infection. You can have problems with healing. You might have it moved and taken out. When you have it taken out, it might hurt really bad, like really bad, to get the thing out, because it's stuck on tissue and under stuff. And I mean, it lives in your body for 3 years. So it's unrealistic to think nothing's gonna grow on it or be on it or kind of cling to it. It's your body's trying to make it part of its body, like part of it, because it's a foreign object. It's like, what are you? Ugh. But it's in there for a decent amount of time that, you know, things happen in there. So that is my arm got infected from my birth control story. I'm sorry if it's not super exciting. It's more gross than anything. But I will insert all the pictures of all that stuff for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to. Comment below if you've had any issues with Nexplanon, or if you had Implanon back when Implanon existed, or whatever, or if you absolutely love it, if you hate it, if you've had problems like I have with it. You should comment below and let me know, just because I'm curious if there's other people other than the few stories I've seen. And yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye, guys!